Get a Palestinian passport before he'll be released. That process could take up to 1 month.
Well, it's a real-life story that sounds like the plot for a Hollywood thriller. An American trapped in a foreign country, unable to come home. A man caught between conflicting forces. That real-life story has a happy ending, as a Muscatine economics instructor is now home after a harrowing experience in Israel. KWQC's Ed Lewis has a follow-up on John DeBeat's odyssey in the Mideast. So, Ed, this is sort of a commentary on how one country guards against the threat of terrorism.
No, Sharon, you could really say that because DeBeat is a naturalized American citizen, but he was born in Palestine, and his name set up a red flag when he returned. He had a file. Now, as a youth, he had been identified as a troublemaker, and after 50 years of dealing with terrorism and threats of terrorism, the Israelis don't forget. DeBeat had accompanied his ailing mother to his birthplace of Ramallah in the West Bank. The Israelis told him he wouldn't be allowed to travel. He would need a separate passport because he was born Palestinian, even though he is an American citizen.
I was really upset when I heard that because I consider myself as an American like any other American. The only difference between me and any other American will be the background. So that's the only difference.
DeBeat received a lot of official attention from the Israelis because earlier he had been a student activist in Palestine, and earlier he had suffered for it.
Was imprisoned for 18 days and beaten and burned with cigarettes and kept in a room the size of maybe a coffee table with no light, very little to eat, interrogated constantly.
He didn't receive that kind of treatment this time around. After the U.S. Embassy intervened, he was finally allowed to leave home for Muscatine. After all this, is he bitter?
This experience makes me feel more strongly about Palestine and achieving peace in Palestine.
Well, now many people would probably consider the treatment he received at the hands of the Israelis as outrageous, being discriminated against, restricted just because he's Palestinian. But in a country that's always on guard against terrorism, he is a marked man. He's automatically a suspect. In a war against terrorist threats, John DeBeat's freedom is one casualty. Reporting from the newsroom, Ed Lewis, KWQC TV 6 News.
Certainly glad to see him home tonight, Ed.
He's home.
All right, thanks for that report.
It's our soaring tonight.